That's destabilization. When he said last year, we'll let Cubans have cell phones, they're not letting them have medicine or food, but cell phones. What's cell phones for? Or equipment.
So they can hear their calls?
So they can hear from their Miami relatives and say, you know, we're having a good life here. You know, destabilization is what it's all about. And yet, if he lives, if there's any lightening of the travel ban, it's actually good. No matter what the U.S. intentions are, the Cubans can handle it. We shouldn't be worried about whether Cuba can take the lifting of the blockade. Sometimes people go, yeah, but when the blockade's lifted, then all these companies are going to flood Cuba. No, they won't, because it's still a socialist country. And they determine who comes in to invest. I mean, they've cut off investments that they found were just not helpful to them. They have the power. So what we need to do is say, we've got to stop these restrictions on the Cubans and stop the restrictions on us. We have a right to go to Cuba. Does that answer?
That's very good, thank you.
I definitely realize that a lot of outside pressure that is trying to cause obviously destruction, but do you think as they bring capitalism into their infrastructure that it will kind of create another sort of demise? I know that you say that, I feel like there's got to be concern of like a limit or how far they're going to like, because I mean how much farther is the outside pressure going to force more capitalism until it becomes like a total counter-revolution?
You ask a very good question. And I think the best way to compare it to, or what their guide has been in all this, you know, I'm not one to criticize China in this talk by saying, China did this, but Cuba won't do that. They're different countries. And China has 1.3 billion people. And extreme underdevelopment that they felt required all the measures it took. I don't agree with, you know, billionaires and millionaires, but in Cuba, the whole capitalist reforms that they instituted, the maximum that they allowed anything in Cubans was they allowed home restaurants, but never more than 12 chairs. They allowed no exploitation of a person by another. That doesn't mean there wasn't violations. There's been plenty of it. Because once you open the door, other people will take advantage. They're going to open the door much more now among the Cubans. But I think their plan is so that people can employ themselves, not to become capitalists. However, it does generate desire for more. Once people have something, they want more. Not everybody, but some people do. But it's like the new economic policy in the early Russian Revolution, where they would have not been able to survive had they not implemented the policy of developing the economy through allowing capitalist measures. And what Fidel said when they opened it up in '93 was exactly what Lenin said, that we know it will bring about inequality, but we have to fight ever more to keep the socialist consciousness alive, and to work in all the 50 years in Cuba of the solidarity that they've become accustomed to. You know, Cubans are a very unique kind of people. They've been steeled through so much struggle. And I've had 1,000 examples of the things they do for each other. So it's pretty hard to break that kind of unity and that solidarity. You should see my video someday. I have a half-hour documentary from that Workers' Congress in '96. And they were debating these problems. They were already developing. You know, farmers who would charge an arm and a leg for the food. And in this Congress, all these farmers got up and they just railed against those people. And they said, we revolutionary farmers, we got to stop this. And they said, how do we stop it? And the guy, and he got, in my video, he gets like, I showed one video. He got 5 standing ovations from all the people because he said, our doctors, our nurses, they're not getting a raise for who knows how long. We can't be gouging them. We have to all work together. And he said, so the way that we fight this is by more production. And that's like a very interesting point. It's a very political and conscious point made by a farmer. He he says, you can't do it by policing people. You just have to grow more food to drive the price down. There just has to be more food. That's the problem. The problem with increase in prices is a shortage of food. And by the way, between 96 and 2008, every time that the economy grew and got stronger, socialist measures were brought back in. Very interesting. The party is extremely communist. It really is. And for example, the farmers markets, I told you they could charge whatever they wanted. But then when the economy got stronger, the army came in with its own farms, its own market. They set up parallel markets to drive the price down. They charge much cheaper, and it forced the other farmers to drive their prices down. And then they said every last Sunday of the month, the state will set the prices in those markets. All that kind of stuff. But they're also coming back to a socialist norm that they had forgotten. They became a bit idealist, like I said. What is the socialist distribution? It's called from each according to their needs, from each according to their work, right? Communism is to each according to their needs, right? To their needs. Under socialism, it's you still have wages, to each according to your work. So if 189,000 people aren't working, but you're getting health care and housing, and because almost everyone owns their home, and you're getting free schooling, that's not to each according to your work. That's like to you regardless of what you're doing. So they're just bringing it back to, they have to incentivize people to work. But yeah, there's a problem. I'll be frank. You go to Cuba and you get into a taxi, a state-run taxi, and taxi drivers will turn off the meter. And you pay them $7 for the fare. They'll say, give me $7. And a lot of people who don't know will give them $7, not realizing they didn't have the meter on. And they put that money in their pocket. And $5, $7, $10 is a lot of money. And if you know people who get away with something like that, they'll do it all day long if they can. They have to bring some money back. But that's a giant drain. And in 2005, Fidel gave a speech, and I can send you all guys his links, but it's a speech that he gave, and he said, is the revolution going to collapse from within? And this is being honest among themselves in order to combat the problems. He said, we're facing a lot of corruption. And he said, this is our biggest challenge, we have to fight this. And then he spoke about the pilfering of gasoline. You know, gasoline is a great shortage. If you're a state worker, you can get a certain amount. But then the Cubans were suspecting, we're losing a lot of gas somewhere. Someone's paying someone off with the pump. And what they've developed since 2000 is this new work for youth who are playing a big role in helping fight the corruption. How many of you heard of the social workers in Cuba? This is, actually you can get a degree earning this. And what Cuba found out was they had to find a way to bring a lot of youth who were not participating in school or work to help fight the problems in the society. And so they've developed something called social workers. I think probably they have about 20,000 now. And what they do is they go out into the neighborhoods and see what problems people have, how can we help you, combat and so forth. And one of the things they did was, after Fidel gave that speech, early one Monday morning, 10,000 social worker youth got the keys to all the gas stations. They became a force for 6 weeks. They monitored every drop of gasoline in the country. They took over they didn't drive the tankers or the trucks that delivered the gas, but they accompanied the workers who did. And they took over control of the gas pumps. They pumped every drop of gas for those 6 weeks. It's quite a thing to do. It was secret. Only the youth knew about it. And they found out after the end of 6 weeks that 55% of the gas was going to come stolen. That's a lot of money in the country. That's a lot of theft. But see, this is the things they're doing to combat it. And those youth social workers have become like heroes in Cuba, and they're doing all kinds of other deeds. And I did a video of these youth. One night we were just like, found a bunch of them in the street. And it's such an inspiring little piece I did of them, because they're telling me, they said, remember I told you the 1.5 million people who've been cured of eye blindness? Have you heard about that? The Operation Miracle? Cuba's operating on. Their goal is to cure 6 million people in Latin America of blindness by operating on them in Cuba for free. And these it was 4 young men, and they said, yeah, Fidel would come to us every morning, early in the